USD and above, this is really the place for you. So on the 5th of July, we are having an event at Fontis Residences, Uganda, and we're bringing all the investors that we can connect with to meet the tech startups and all kinds of startups that need funding. This is the opportunity for you. And today I'm joined by Martin Tumine, the CEO of Zantu, and the Zantu team, and they're going to be diving more into that. So, Martin Tumine, in your journey with Zantu, what is that one thing that has crafted your story? What's your innovation storyline?
Okay, hope everybody can hear. All right. So, what's our innovation story like? Well, how did we begin? What's our story? So, I remember it was 2016, and I was riding in a bus going home, and I remember I had these thoughts about building a company that would have impact on other people's lives. Um, I had no idea exactly how it would impact, but I just knew because I had a passion for software engineering, I thought it would probably be in the software side, like building some sort of platform or software application that would, go on to do something different. And 2018 is when we got registered as Zanti Technologies Uganda Limited, and we've been on this journey ever since. I remember at the very beginning, it wasn't easy trying to figure out how to or what to work on in a sort of regard, because I was so focused. I had too much energy, and I was young, and I was focusing so much on building other people's ventures and trying to get like equity in that. But I had little did I know that it would actually be the downfall from the very beginning, because I thought that somehow I needed the money from them to fund what we wanted to do, because I didn't believe that we could actually create something in that regard. I wasn't exactly focused on niched. I do remember we had a product in the biomedical engineering sector, some sort of inventory system to help keep track of medical equipment and different statuses and things like that. And we went ahead to actually build it. And I remember I had a coach, and she kept asking, "How big is the market? How big is the market?" Because how are you sure that this is actually a scalable product in a sense? Because based on the number of private hospitals, and how much are they willing to pay for this in a certain context. So we thought about so many ways of how we could go about it. But long story short, we didn't launch the product there and then, because there was a lot of back and forth between the potential clients and what we were doing. Our team was really small. It was practically me and someone else building it. So it was a really huge application. And then next thing you know what, COVID hit. And I had just gotten married to my beautiful wife, and who's here with us. And what happened is that I had to focus now on getting a job in that respect. And I had to also hone my craft. So I took a detour and explored employment opportunities and learned from other people as well. So fast forward, we then begin to now look at how do we build something from the pharmacy side, because you, Dr. Lisa, are a pharmacist, and you sort of gave us an idea on how to we could actually build something in that direction. However, we didn't again launch, because there was a lot of work, especially with the back and forths, because different Windows versions and different compatibility issues. And in the very beginning, when you don't have like sort of like funding in that regard, and you're focused also on a job, it really becomes hard to stay stable in between there. Um, so last year is now when we began exploring different ideas, and we said, hey, we see a problem here. We see that when it comes to technology startups or businesses that use technology, they don't necessarily have like technology leaders from the ground, from the very beginning, especially. Reason why I'm talking about this is because there was a time when I downloaded a certain app from a famous bank, and I tried using the application, and the application just couldn't work. I couldn't get past a certain step, and that was really detrimental because that before it was working, but when they made the update, it wasn't working, and I was like, okay, why? Like, why should people go through this? And I started saying, how is it possible to sort of plant someone in businesses who would guide them on how to, write applications better? So I wouldn't say we innovated this idea, but we said it's CTO as a service. And the idea is that we wanted to be forefront in the place where we would um, help startups or businesses, guide them through a product roadmap, help them build great teams, and we first focused on startups, but the startups in the very beginning, especially when you don't have any cash flow, it's really difficult because they cannot pay you, right? And also at the same time, you're sort of juggling a job in between and you being a CTO as a service consultant in that regard. So that became quite difficult. So we said, you know what, this year we changed strategy and said we're probably going to focus more on more established entities. But there's something that we learned when we started CTO as a service. We actually learned that quite a number of these businesses were actually looking for funding to get them to a certain level, to get them to a certain place. And an idea dropped and said, how about we sort of like connect them to investors? And that's how we started Zanto Capital in a sense. So we started the Zanto Capital brand actually just about 3-4 months ago. And we've been building our investor network and also building our venture network as well. And there's a lot I've been learning along this journey. And the more I continued to learn about it, the more I understood that people are looking for funding, but a lot of them don't know what funding looks like or how, or at one point in the business they should actually get the funding. So that's when we started doubling down and saying, no, let's do this thing real hard. And we continued to engage different kinds of investors and ventures. We got links to investors around the globe, which is something that honestly, it's really been an experience learning from other people and learning what it takes to actually get investment and why you should even seek investment in the very beginning. Most people think that because I can build something, then I should get funding, but that's just an entertainment mentality. Just because you have a startup doesn't mean that you should get the funding, right? Why should you get the funding? How are you going to build or make returns for the investors that you're looking at, right? It has to be a win-win situation for everyone. Excuse me. So that's how we said City as a service. So we started creating a 360-degree loop where we using Zanto Capital as a way to get investors into ventures. And then if they need assistance or technical assistance from a CTO, then we also provide that option as well. So that Zanto, our vision is to build or create leaders that are able to go out there and make an impact in the world, right? For specific business, because our focus is businesses, which is basically B2B, because I believe that business is able to transform communities, transform different areas, and help places to develop, basically. And then another thought came into our mind, and we said, we probably need to start sort of like a venture studio in a sense. So we're still exploring that idea in terms of how we can get the right partners to work with, in terms of how we could move forward. So if you're an investor out there or probably a partner you would like to work with us, hit us up. You can send us a comment here or probably DM us as well so that we can get in touch with you and see and explore different opportunities of how we can collaborate with each other. So that's sort of been our journey, right? It's not been a smooth road. Stories are different for different founders, and that's been our journey up to now, right now. Yeah, so I wouldn't say we've innovated anything new, but we've kept twitching the business model and pivoting the business model around in that sort of context and try to add a little new things here and there that would make us a little bit different from the competition out there. So that's just a bit about our story and where we are right now and how we're looking forward to the 5th of July, where we are going to have an investor ready business summit where we'll have investors, about 5 investors from different firms, representing different firms. And there'll also be an opportunity to pitch Basically, 4 entrepreneurs will be chosen to go pitch about their business idea and also possibly get the funding that they need. But on top of that, we have 30 tickets, only 30 tickets. And if you need to also register, do DM us, or we'll also probably also send the link in the chat as well. So 5th of July, let us know if you have any queries or any questions. Yeah, so that's it about our journey. Thank you.
Wow, that is really so profound, because at some point you were a startup. And now that you're not a startup anymore, you know exactly what the needs of a startup should be. Yeah. And that's why you are doing this at Zanto Capital, to connect people that are in that same situation to investors. What has been that most significant thing that you've learned from investors?
All right. So that one thing that I've learned from different sorts of investors, I've learned that number one, investors basically look out for the team in terms of how is the team set up, how is how are different kinds of people contributing towards the team, and they look out for things like that. So they call it founder market fit. At some point call it founder market fit, but they also look at also the team and how it integrates together. Another thing they also look at is coachability. Are you actually coachable? Because that's why you have a lot of VCs that are actually running their own incubators or accelerators, because they want to know if you are coachable, right? Do you actually listen? Are you able to, when you enter this space, are you able to be malleable? Are you able to change and adapt to new situations? Or are you probably rigid? So obviously they look out for these markers in the very beginning. It's not even about what sort of idea you have, but already they're looking at your personality as a founder. So those are some things that I've learned along this journey.
Awesome, awesome. So we have people here that are trying to get investment funding, and we really want to know what makes a tech startup investor ready. Joseph, in your opinion, as someone that builds tech, what have you seen that is so important that someone must consider if they want to be investor ready?
Thank you, Dr. Lisa, for that question. As a technical player,
And sorry, Joseph, we can't hear you. Okay, I think we seem to have lost him. How about you, Valentino? In your experience, what should someone consider?
so as someone looking for funding uh, for your tech startup, these are the things that I think you should consider when you are, let's say, either developing your application or your software, uh, and you want to put it out to the investors. This is what you should consider. So my first point is scalability. Is your project scalable? Scalability in a way that will this application still be able to function when, let's say, more users keep on coming? I can give an example of, let's say, Facebook. Facebook was built for a college, a university. When Mark Zuckerberg started it up, he had built it for uh, Harvard, is it? Harvard students. But with time, he began bringing on board other universities, and right now it's all over the whole world. So it's a scalable thing. So as an investor, I would like to invest in something scalable, because scalability is equals to more revenue, because I mean those are more people. So yeah, you should look at that. The next one that I have is you should have a clear problem and a clear solution. So your problem should be a real problem, not just any problem, because many of the tech startups that we have nowadays usually focus on small problems. That affects them so much because I mean you come up with you come up with your idea, but the problem it is solving is something that some people are okay with. Someone can tell you, I have this problem, but I'm okay with my problem. I don't need a solution to it, you know? So most people fail to understand that you should really come up with an idea that is going to help solve a real problem that is relatable to many of us, you know? It may be a problem to you, but it's not a problem to me. Though it is a problem, but to me, I see it as something that I can live with, you know? So you should come up with a problem and a clear solution to that problem. So I can give an example of Duolingo. Duolingo, the language application. So first of all, learning a new language is really hard. It's really hard, and so it's really hard and it's inaccessible to many people. So it made it a little bit difficult for many people to learn new languages, and that became a clear problem. So what was the solution? The solution was coming up with like to gamify learning a new language, so that it becomes like something that is interesting for someone to learn. So that was the clear solution to a clear problem. Uh, then my third point for that was strong tech architecture. When you're to build your software, will it have a lot of bugs? Will it crash with time? You know, will it be able to handle the load? So you should have a clear tech architecture that is going to prevent all these issues. If you have if you have a tech architecture that is going to end up having what we call downtime, that will affect the business so much, because downtime is equals to higher costs of maintenance and things like that. So yeah, it's really not it's not advisable to build a software that has a weak tech architecture, because a weak tech architecture brings bugs. It brings uh, it causes the system to crash and everything like that. So that that is a something that you should think about when you want to pitch your idea to investors. Those are my 3 points that I had.
Okay, thank you so much, Joseph. We lost you for a bit there. Are you okay now?
Oh yeah, I experienced a power issue here, but I'm now back. So I was still talking about monetization. Now, one of the key things that you should look at as an investor looking to invest in a given startup is their business model monetizable? Do they have actual paying customers? Because people can say it's a great product, but no one is willing to pay for it. So it will not make business sense for you as an investor. Number two, the credibility of the team. As a startup builds the product, it will undergo a lot of changes, a lot of issues. It will face lots of humps along the way. But what matters most is the adaptability and the agility of this team to be flexible, to respond in time. Let me say the market says it wants this feature. Is the team able to respond in time? Number three, this you should make data-driven decisions. What do I mean by this? There should be uh, proper user data showing user traction, that this has high projected growth rates as a business model. So those are the main points that should be looked at.
Thank you. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing. How about the mistakes that tech founders make? What do you think that they should do better, Joseph? In your opinion, what mistakes do tech founders make?
I think the biggest of them all, the biggest mistake that tech founders make, most of technical tech founders, is building before product validation, because they are so immersed and so in love with what the idea of what they're building. The idea could be great, but does it work in the real market? Are there people who will use it? Because other than the nerdy sort of person, will actual people be able to use that, all the features as you lay them out? So building before you validate in the real market is the biggest of them all. And number two, the next one that follows after that, ignoring business metrics. Maybe you launch your product or application and you introduce a new major feature, and after that user usage plummets and or reduces, and you still persist that I should continue shipping out and insisting on maintaining that feature. That's outright wrong. And as technical founders or builders, we are very guilty of that.
Wow,
Yes.
that's really amazing. How about you, Mr. Martin? Are you still with us? In your opinion, what are some of the common mistakes that tech founders make that make them fail to get investment? And what would you advise?
All right. What are some of the common mistakes that founders make? Number one, you have a pitch deck and you don't have an ask. You literally just talking about what you do, but at the end of the pitch, you don't ask for anything, right? That's a red flag right there. Another common mistake is not doing your numbers well. Well, one of the common things is, as Joseph said, you need to be looking at the data and also looking at all of these things, right? If the data suggests that probably it's not scalable, then probably you're not going to get the investment. But also another common mistake is founders who are pitching to the wrong type of investor. That's another one, because we have what we call angel investors. We have venture capitalist investors who are looking at probably injecting slightly more cash in a sense than angels. The other thing is also like private equity as well. We have other kind of investors that actually do private equity. So if your venture is one that is sort of private equity led, so what do I mean by private equity? It's probably not that scalable, but you're probably going to make money, at the end of the day, and it's still going to be profitable for the other investor in a sense, right? So that's, I think, one of the things that you can look at just as an example. So if you're pitching to a VC who's probably looking at returning probably a certain amount, like 5 times what they put in, 10 times, or even more, in a sense, if you're actually lucky, then you're probably pitching to the wrong person, in a sense. Again, if you are pitching to an angel investor and you're looking for to raise a lot of money, the angel will probably just brush your aside and say, I don't have that kind of money. Probably invest really small checks, in a sense. So you also need to also do your homework in terms of what does this investor look out for, how what's the size of their tickets. And also another thing is, they entrepreneurs don't build relationships with investors. You think that because I see you on LinkedIn, I'm probably going to hit you up and send you a DM. They're probably receiving like 1,000 messages on a daily basis. So you're probably literally not going to get anything back, probably, right? So you need to position yourself in a way that you're probably making unique noise for yourself. What do I mean by unique noise? In a world where everybody is making so much noise, what's the quality of your noise? It's not just a quantity, but what's the quality of your noise? How are you building yourself up in a certain context? Sorry, what sort of strategies are you using to uniquely tell your story to the world? And how are you doing it differently from how people are doing it? So I guess those are some of the common mistakes that entrepreneurs make, from what I've seen. Not doing the homework, not doing any due diligence, not knowing who to pitch to, not building relationships. I'll tell you something, if you want to probably get funded, you need to be in circles where people have probably been funded before, or probably in circles where maybe people can see you in a certain aspect. For example, join cohorts, join accelerators. Right now, we have an online, some sort of online call that we meet, that we actually get onto every Thursday and Wednesday. And and that sort of context, the more you keep talking to these people, engaging with them, eventually, the person who's actually leading sort of like a VC can actually be like, oh, so sort of like a general partner of a VC firm. Can get to know, oh, I know Martin. He comes to my events. He talks every once in a while. He has pretty good ideas. Hey, Martin, how are you doing? What's up? How can I help you? In a sense. So it's all about building relationships. How you build ventures or businesses is a totally different ball game from how you actually build or get investment ready, or even investment in that sort of regard. It's a totally different ball game. Now, this now boils down to your ability to talk to people. What's your emotional quotient like? Are you the kind of person that someone will tell you probably have a really bad idea, probably you should change this? And again, this goes back to the bit of coachability. Are you coachable? Do you change? Are you able to be malleable? So yeah, those are some of the common mistakes. There's so many others, but because of time, I'll just talk about those few.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing those great insights. So, in line with what you are organizing at Fontis on July 5th, what kind of investors are going to be there? Do they invest in only specific fields, or it's general? Tell us a bit more about what we should expect from that day.
So we are looking at investors who are sector agnostic, because the kind of people who will apply to be around are probably not are probably in different kinds of industries and different sectors. So expect to meet investors who are sector agnostic. I cannot release the details yet in terms of the actual details in terms of who will be there and exactly which firm. However, I do know one firm is going to be there, and that is Otus Africa Capital. They'll be present on that day, and they basically also have invested and also have a venture studio that also support your business. So if you're looking for support in that sort of regard, you'll be able to meet one of the representatives there. We'll have a networking session towards the end of the event, where you'll have the ability to network and rub shoulders with all these kinds of VC firm representatives. And yeah, so that's what I can tell you so far. We also have talks that we'll have as well. I'll be talking. The new Lisa, you'll also be talking, and also Barry Clemens, who's an expert in the hotel and hospitality industry. We'll also be talking about the pitch and your investor readiness to excuse me, to also receive funding in that regard. Mhm.
Okay, thank you. So we have a Pumble community, and if you are an entrepreneur, you need to be on that Pumble community so that we can connect more. But as well, we'd love to see you on that date. So be sure to book your slot, because, like we say, they're limited seating only. And as we connect more with different investors, you need to be ready. Have your pitch deck ready, and if it's not ready, please do reach out. We can be able to help you. I'm sure Martin would lovingly do that. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we've come to the end of this talk. So for those of you out there, if you are interested in joining us, I have put links, details in what we are talking about. You should be able to find the links, visit the website, and you can also join our Pambo community. So you can also DM us. Don't be shy. Feel free to DM us. We're happy to also tell you more about the event and how it will go down. Thank you, Joseph, Valentino, Dr. Lisa. for being on this call, and it's been Fireside Chat at Zantu. So, right, peace.